In this video, I will show you what a movement along the curve looks like. Now, very important is that a movement along a curve, which I'll illustrate in a second, is caused by a change in price. Anything else that changes will cause a shift of the curve, which we'll show in another video. Right, so when the price of a product changes, on my left-hand side I have a demand curve, and on my right-hand side I have a supply curve. Now, in both cases, when there is a change in price, there will be a movement along the curve. So let's quickly see what that means. When I start on my left-hand side with the demand curve, and let's say initially the price of chickens was 3 Rand, and at that price my consumers, remember demand is determined by the consumers, the buyers, the households, and they are willing and able to buy 5 units of chicken for 3 Rand each. Very cheap and affordable chickens. Now, at a price of 5 Rand, my households are willing and able to buy only 3 chickens. So this means that when there is a price increase of chickens are selling for 5 Rand a chicken where it previously was sold for only 3 Rand. Then that means the price increases, and that causes a movement along the curve from the initial point where at 3 Rand we were at point A. This caused a movement along the curve to point B, and now that means that my quantity demanded decreases to 3 chickens. And that also illustrates to us the law of demand. There is an inverse or negative relationship between price and quantity demanded. When the price increases, then quantity demanded falls. But remember that the opposite is also true. So if the price was initially 5 Rand or even 6 Rand, then it falls, so the price falls, causing us to move from this point B. We move along the curve, and we move from this initial 3 chickens, and our consumer is now willing and able to buy 5 chickens at a price of 3 Rand. So in this case, the price fell and the quantity demanded increased. We have an inverse relationship between the two variables. Now, the very same will happen when we look at the supply curve. So let's say we start at an initial price of 6 Rand for a chicken, and the price falls to 3 Rand. This means we have a fall in the price, so the price falls, and this causes us to have a movement along the curve. So we initially at 6 Rand, my firms were willing and able to supply 7 chickens. But now, because of this price decrease, there is a movement along the curve to a new point. Let's call this point B and the first one point A. meaning that the new quantity supplied is 3 chickens. So the quantity supplied falls. Therefore, according to the law of supply, when price falls, then the quantity supplied falls as well. And the very same will happen if the price increases. If the price increases, there's an upwards movement along the curve and the quantity supplied will increase. So we have a positive relationship here. When the price increases, then the quantity supplied increases as well. But remember, a movement along the curve is caused by a change in price. So we can write it as follows. A change in price causes a movement along the curve. A shift of the curve, which we will show in the next video, is caused by any other change other than price.